Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to bring you a Red Sea update regarding the Houthi rebels down in Yemen. I've got some news coming out here for you. So some of the latest news here is that this Rubymar ship that got hit just in the last week or two, it was hit by multiple ballistic missiles. Well, supposedly it was starting to sink. There was the Houthi rebels that came out that said they apparently sunk this ship, and then the United States was saying no, everything was fine, and supposedly they had to evacuate the crew, and the ship was still floating. Then we had reports it was starting to sink, and apparently it finally has sunk in the Red Sea. So also, apparently this ship was leaking some sort of substance like an oil or like fertilizer. I don't know what was leaking. And it created like an 18-mile oil slick. I did a video on that as well in the Red Sea. And there's a lot of threats and warnings coming out of potential environmental damage due to this oil slick. Okay. So, yeah, that's the latest news on that. We also have a CENTCOM press release I want to go over here. Apparently, the United States have struck a surface-to-air missile system inside of Yemen. So that's like an anti-air system. Okay, so it says here, March 1st, 2024. Okay, this was just yesterday. On March 1st, at approximately 12:40 p.m. Sanaa time, U.S. Central Command CENTCOM forces conducted a self-defense strike against one Iranian-backed Houthi surface-to-air missile that was prepared to launch from Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen towards the Red Sea. CENTCOM forces identified the missile and determined it presented an imminent threat to U.S. aircraft in the region. So I don't know if this thing was targeting U.S. aircraft, but we do know this is multiple of these surface-to-air missiles that have been destroyed. I want to say this might be the second or third one by now that I have seen. All right, and didn't we just have that MQ-9 Reaper drone, that U.S. drone that was shot down as well over Yemen? It was like the second drone that got shot down. So clearly, the Houthis have capabilities to take down, aircraft. So it also says here at 10:46 p.m. Sanaa time, the Houthis launched one anti-ship ballistic missile from Yemen into the Red Sea. There was no impact or damage to any vessels. So again, another anti-ship ballistic missile that was fired from Yemen. So this is still continuing down here. We're still getting these attacks on ships, but it definitely has been a little bit quieter over the last few days leading up to the last week, I'd say. So I've got this article as well. Let's go over this. This is regarding this Rubymar ship that supposedly finally has sunk. So as you can see here in the picture, that's that oil slick in the back there. Okay, that was created due to this ship. So a ship earlier hit by Yemen's Houthi rebels sinks in the Red Sea, the first vessel lost in the conflict. United Arab Emirates, a ship attacked by Yemen Houthi rebels has sunk in the Red Sea after days of taking on water. Officials said Saturday the first vessel to be fully destroyed as part of their campaign over Israel's war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. The sinking of the Rubymar, which carried a cargo of fertilizer and previously leaked fuel, could cause ecological damage to the Red Sea. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're finally coming out and saying what was actually leaking. They're saying it was fuel here. Okay, and then obviously all this fertilizer that was on board is now going to get spread into the sea. Persistent Houthi attacks have already disrupted traffic in the crucial waterway for cargo and energy shipments moving from Asia and the Middle East to Europe. Already many ships have turned away from the route. The sinking could see further detours and higher insurance rates put on vessels plying the waterway, potentially driving up global inflation and affecting aid shipments to the region. The Belize-flagged Rubymar had been drifting northward after being struck by a Houthi anti-ship ballistic missile on February 18th in the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, a crucial waterway linking the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. Yemen's internationally recognized government, as well as a regional military official, confirmed the ship sank. The official spoke on condition of anonymity, as no authorization was given to speak to journalists about the incident. The British military United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations Center, which watches over Middle East waterways, separately acknowledged the Rubymar sinking Saturday afternoon. So it looks like the UK MTO has acknowledged this as well. The Rubymar's Beirut base manager could not immediately reach for comment. So it was near this area here. This is the Bab al-Mandeb Strait on this map. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. We're able to a tiny bit. But yeah, so here's Yemen here. Here's the Gulf of Aden. Here's the Red Sea. And the Bab al-Mandeb Strait is right in here. It's this tiny little strip of water here that's very skinny and tight to squeeze through here, and very easy for the Houthi rebels here because they control a lot of the western side of Yemen. It's very easy for them to target ships here in the Red Sea. That's why you see so many of these dots. All these dots are potential or previous attacks on ships. Whether they were actually hit, they were like targeted basically. So a lot of these attacks end up happening in this area right here next to the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, which is right in this section here. So, yeah, it's, not good what's going on over here, but yeah, it looks like that finally this Rubymar has sunk in the Red Sea. I was wondering if it was going to. It was kind of floating there for the past, I don't know, week or so. And there was pictures coming out from like the BBC showing that it had not completely sunk yet. But it looks like we've got reports that it has finally sunk. All right, also, I'm going to be showing you this video here from, this is the U.S. State Department. They put out a video here to kind of show the impacts of what the Houthi rebels are doing to international trade, international waters with these cargo vessels. And basically, they're calling for the Houthis to end their, end their campaign against these commercial vessels. So let me show you this real quick.
Since late last year, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels have been attacking commercial ships in the Red Sea. This has caused shipping companies carrying essential goods, like food, fuel, and medical supplies, to reroute their cargo on detours that can add more than a week to the estimated arrival, and is doubling shipping costs to the United States. A medical supply company in Maryland has been waiting for weeks for their monthly shipment of parts to arrive.
They're basically making it difficult for commercial shipping, whether it be from the United States or anywhere else, to actually transit through the Suez Canal. The one that we just got in normally should take 5 to 6 weeks. It took 12 weeks to get here because they couldn't figure out how to get it to us.
Countries around the world are facing these challenges. The Houthi attacks are increasing the cost of food, medicine, and fuel, hurting the people who need it most, like in Yemen and Gaza.
We're talking about real human impact here. This adds more costs, more delays, food spoils, medicines expire. So that's why we and other nations are joining together and calling on the Houthis to stop these reckless attacks on Red Sea ships.
Okay, so again, that was from the U.S. State Department, obviously calling on the Houthis again there to discontinue their attacks in the Red Sea, because obviously this is causing a major issue throughout the world. Lots of supplies are being delayed because they're having to go around Africa versus going through the Red Sea, which is a much shorter distance compared to going around Africa, especially if they're going to places like Europe. This can add sometimes up to 3,000 more miles to that trip, and also several more weeks, which again can cause, delays on shipping, drives up prices, costs more fuel, medicines expire just like they're saying there, food can expire, lots of things can expire, and also a higher potential of mold starting to grow inside of these shipments. So obviously it's causing a huge problem here, right? So I wanted to show you that because we've got some other articles coming out here talking about this. So Houthi fight extracts heavy cost on Pentagon. So let's look at this real quick. More than 2 months of direct fighting with the Houthis has heavily taxed the U.S. military, which is expending a significant amount of money to take down cheap drones, launch retaliatory strikes, and defend against rebels who are in turn shooting down pricey American drones. In most cases, the U.S. is launching $2 million defense missiles to stop a $2,000 Houthi drone, a discrepancy that the Yemeni rebel group has noted in its statements mocking Washington. The cost of taking on Houthis is also becoming more apparent as the defiant fighters show no signs of stopping and could lock the U.S. into a long conflict, and it's throwing the world into a tough spot. So I wanted to show you this because think about how much this really is costing America just to stay over here in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. I've talked about this before, but I just want to bring it up again to show you the numbers here. So look at that. It cost them $2 million per missile to shoot down a $2,000 Houthi drone. And think about like these MQ-9 Reaper drones. 2 of these got shot down. That's $30 million approximately for each one. So this is definitely exacting a huge price for the United States, any other countries that get involved. And then think about these strikes inside of Yemen. Think about the amount of money being spent on these bombs that are dropped inside of Yemen. Each time they do these, US and UK led coalition strikes where they'll bomb, 18, 30 different targets or something like that. It's definitely costing a lot of money for America to be doing this. And the Houthis in a way are benefiting by this because they're forcing the United States and other countries to waste a bunch of their weaponry to take down these small drones and just cost millions and millions and millions of dollars just to maintain the international shipping. So it's pretty crazy what's happening over here, and just the effects on shipping alone is just absolutely it's enormous. Okay, and the prices for shipping are continuing to go up. And insurance companies are going to start thinking about whether they want to insure ships that go through the Red Sea as well, because of this Rubymar sinking now. This is going to make insurance companies think twice about this because it's going to be costing them a lot of money. Imagine the insurance company that has to pay for this ship that got destroyed and sunk. Okay, especially if it sinks, they have to replace that whole ship. Okay. And who knows how much these ships cost? What, maybe $50 million or more? Who knows how much they cost? So it's going to be costing insurance companies a lot of money. Also, I thought this was an interesting article that came out. Yemen's Houthis blame UK and US action for glitch in Red Sea undersea cables. So apparently, okay, well, let me explain this first. There's communication cables for internet, like internet cables that run through the Red Sea. And these internet cables are very important because they connect to like many countries in Europe and other countries in the Middle East, and could also potentially affect United States internet as well, connectivity issues from Europe to the United States, right? So apparently there was a glitch here, okay? There's a glitch that the Houthis are blaming the US and the UK for. And this comes after we recently started having reports coming out that the Houthi rebels could potentially be targeting undersea cables in the Red Sea. These are internet cables, okay? So let's look at this real quick. The Houthi Transport Ministry in Yemen blames hostile actions conducted by US and British naval vessels against Yemen for a glitch in undersea cables in the Red Sea. Very interesting. I wonder what kind of glitch they're talking about here. Maybe it went offline temporarily. I don't know what happened here. The actions endanger the security and safety of the international communications and the flow of information, the ministry says in a statement, reported by Houthi-run Saba news agency without giving details. Any glitch in these cables as a result of the militarization of the Red Sea by US and British naval vessels represents a serious threat to the information security and economic and social stability for all countries of the world, the statement reads. The Houthis have been firing exploding drones and missiles at commercial vessels in the Red Sea since November 19th, calling their actions a protest against Israel's war on Hamas. So I guess in a way, the Houthis are blaming the US and the UK for some sort of glitch to internet undersea cables, I'm assuming. I haven't really heard anything about this, but I thought it was interesting when this came out today. I didn't hear any actual reports of like some sort of a glitch with undersea cables, but this is the next step that we've seen before there was just potential threats towards these undersea cables being targeted by the Houthis. But now the Houthis are apparently blaming the US and the UK for this. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe if more information comes out later, I can do another report on that. But obviously that's been a threat here for some time. And we do know the Houthis have these underwater drones that they're using now. They're underwater explosive drones that are kind of like a torpedo, but they're controlled by a remote control. Okay, so that's going to be it here for this update, though. That's everything I've got coming out as of March 2nd, 2024. okay, in terms of the Red Sea here with the Houthi rebels. So if you got something out of this video, do me a favor, smash that like button on the video. And also, if you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.